Vibe coding has recently emerged as a polarizing term in the development community, often mocked as a fad where developers or any person rely entirely on AI vibes rather than deep syntax knowledge or domain use case. But functionally, it represents a shift towards high level intent driven programming. It is not merely a meme, it is the realization of natural language acting as a compiler that allows users to focus on logic while the model handles the implementation. VibeThinker 1.5 billion model is a new ultra compact dense language model from Vibo that validates this approach by democratizing high level reasoning. With only 1.5 billion parameters, it fits easily on consumer hardware. Yet it is designed to process complex logic chains, usually reserved for massive enterprise models. This is where we are going to install it locally and we are going to test it out on various benchmarks. This is Fahad Mirza and I welcome you to the channel. Please like the video and subscribe and consider becoming a member as that helps a lot. For AI updates, please also consider following me on X and I would highly appreciate that. Coming back to this model, the model looks pretty interesting in terms of training, benchmarks, and various other statistics which they have shared. Let me start installing this model and I will be talking more around its training and architecture. So I'm going to use this Ubuntu system. I have one GPU card NVIDIA RTX 6000 with 48 GB of VRAM. I'm starting by creating a virtual environment with Conda. If you're looking to rent a GPU or VM or CPU on very affordable price, you can find the link to Massed Compute in video's description with a discount coupon code of 50% for range of GPUs. And the virtual environment is created. Let's install all the prerequisites, which primarily means Torch, transformers, and Hugging Face Hub. This is going to take a couple of minutes. While that happens, let's talk a bit more around its training and architecture. So the technical core of VibeThinker is its innovative spectrum to signal principle or SSP, which is a training framework that decouples solution generation from solution verification, and that is very important. The pipeline begins with a supervised fine tuning, and sorry, my throat is not well today. My apologies for that, but let me repeat it again. So the pipeline, as you can see on your screen, begins with a supervised fine-tuning stage focused on diversity exploring distillation, where the model is trained to generate a wide spectrum of diverse problem-solving paths via domain-aware diversity probing and expert model fusion. This whole thing is then immediately followed by reinforcement learning with verification and reward stage, which is of course a gift from a optimized version from DeepSeek or the signal phase. And then what they are doing, they are using max ENT guided policy optimization. The model undergoes multi-stage training, specifically distinct stages for math and coding, and both with reinforcement learning. And after that, it collapses that diverse spectrum into a single correct signal. This method allows the model to think through various possibilities before converging on the right answer. And that shows the reasoning depth of much larger models. And you can check it out from these benchmarks. As you can see, that even the remarkably low training cost of around 8,000 USD, VibeThinker punches significantly above its weight class, reshaping the Pareto frontier of reasoning accuracy versus model scale. So, for instance, in math benchmarks, it has achieved 80.3 on AMI 2024, which, and this is a score that surprisingly surpassed the initial DeepSeek R1 model, which possesses over 400 times the parameter count, around 671 and billion, and this one is just 1.5 billion. And also in the coding tasks, as you can see, it remains competitive with a score of 55.9 on live code benchmarks, where it has either outperformed or matched several open weight models. So I think very impressive stuff, and same goes here. which I was talking about, Amy, and there are a lot of other data which they have shared on their um, model card, and I will drop the link to it in video's description. Okay, everything is installed. Make sure you also have Gradio installed. I already have it. I'm just going to clear it. And what I have done, I have just took the code from their card and I have put a Gradio interface on top of it. So I'm just going to run this from my local terminal in the app.py. And the first time when you run this, it also downloads the model, which is very small. And now you can see that our Gradio demo is running. Let's access it on our local host at port 7860. And this is what the Gradio interface looks like. Now let's test it out. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to test it out on various prompts which are going to avoid trivia, but they are going to force the model to use its chain of thought capabilities to derive answers it hasn't simply memorized. So the first one, where I am asking it to calculate the probability that a knight starting at square a1 on a standard 8x8 chessboard returns to a1 after exactly 6 moves. And then I'm asking it to not to use Monte Carlo simulation and derive the answer using an adjacency matrix. What this prompt is doing, it is testing if the model actually learned from the Amy dataset, which it says that it has done wonderfully well on, especially on these benchmarks. So this is what I'm going to test, if it is true or not. So this is going to tell us if the model actually learned it, because it requires setting up a complex state space, which is small, which is where small models actually hallucinate a lot. So so it is, you can see that it is thinking. Let's wait for it to come back. And now as the model is fully loaded, let's check the VRAM consumption. So VRAM consumption, you can see it is at the moment consuming quite a lot, 29%. So just under 4K. So you can easily use it anywhere you like, and I don't think it is going to go above that. Okay, let's wait for it to come back. It is thinking. It is going to take a bit of a time. And there you go. The model has come back with the response. And if you go through this answer, it has done quite well with chain of thought, and it has converged to a final solution after calculating the probability. And it also had identified different alternatives. So it has thought long and hard, and then it has correctly identified the adjacency matrix, which is A6, and then it has executed that calculation, or it has collapsed the signal to result in this output. And then it has also given us some of the problems and alternatives. So now just think about it, that after thinking long and hard, this small model has come to the right conclusion. And this is where we have evolved after like 11 months after, or 10 months maybe, after release of DeepSeek R1. So the pace of progress in AI is quite huge. Okay, now this was a sort of math question. Let's now try out one coding question, because this is not a general purpose model. This model is only for either math or coding reinforcement learning. Okay, for the coding one, I'm going to just check out this Rust function, which is primarily a vibe coding polyglot challenge. It implies handling high level intent, and I'm asking the model to bridge two languages that hate each other, testing its ability to maintain logic across syntax boundaries. So you see that I am also asking it to not only write the Rust function that manages memory, but to wrap it inside a Python C extension structure. And the Python script should pass a string to Rust, where Rust reserves the string in place. So it should be fun. I'm more interested in just checking out what exactly the thought process is there. And it has started producing the result. And the model has thought really long. It just took 5 minutes. But if you look at the chain of thought, it has done the proper offloading, the logic to C, C++, and it has also written some of the Rust code here. It has even gone out and it has understood the Python extension architecture, And then in Rust, very nice. And then it is talking about different alternatives. It also goes in the wrong way sometimes, where it is talking about whether to free a Python many string, which would cause a segmentation, but then it self rectified it and then modifies the memory buffer in place. As you can see, it has written the whole code too. So look, I think very impressive model for the size of it. Try it out, let me know what do you think. Again, please follow me on X if you like, and please consider becoming a member, as that helps a lot. Thank you for all the support.